Our next question is another popular one that many people have sent in. I'm going to read one and then read a comment from another. This was sent in to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Liam R. This past week on Raw, Nia Jax struck again, causing yet another injury to another female wrestler. During her match with Kairi Sane, she threw her into the steel steps head first, causing a gash in Kairi's forehead. Kairi posted on Instagram a picture of her wound and the stitches she received after the fact. My question is, considering this is a recurring theme whenever Nia gets in the ring, should she be punished for her constant negligence of the people she's working with by performing moves in an unsafe manner? If so, what would your idea of a punishment be? Suspension? Or sending her to the performance center so she can actually learn how to wrestle? And do you think she's been let off the hook many times just because she's a member of the Samoan dynasty? And real quick, Jim, before you answer that on that topic, because I thought this is another interesting point, this was sent in to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Jay in Norton, Virginia. I'm trying to read a portion of this. My question is about Nia Jax. She gets a lot of heat for hurting people, but don't you believe a lot of the blame should be placed on WWE's shoulders? She was signed in late 2014 and had her in-ring NXT debut in May 2015. In July 2016, she was on the main roster. With only a few months of training and not with any monster-sized trainers and only a couple of dozen matches, don't you think they did Nia a disservice by bringing her up too soon? I feel they severely handicapped her and hurt someone that could have been a giant attraction. So the first question, and there's a point in the second one, Jim.
Well, good Lord, I'd have to be her personal fucking business manager to have studied her career enough to delve in depth on all of this stuff. It seems like it keeps happening that she's dishing out them taters, right? And I saw the clip on Twitter, and it's one of those things where we talked about it several weeks ago on one of these shows. When you're so much bigger than everybody else you're working with, the new Andre book, they went into detail about how he specifically tried to be careful to take care of everybody, because when you're 2 and 3 times as big as all of your opponents, you've got to adapt a little bit. And especially those girls cannot move her around, but she can move them around. And it looked to me like, yes, the spot was going to be the girl got pulled out and thrown into the stairs, but it's one of those things where there just wasn't any weight to get. She didn't wait for the girl to get her balance, get her feet under her, get her stand up. She just kind of grabbed, boom, head first shovel, and you can't stop yourself, and you don't know, you haven't got your balance yet, and you can't control it. Every once in a while, when I was a baby face, for some reason, I would have somebody post me if I need to be taken out of the equation for a while. And one night, it was I won't call any names, but it was a woman that was going to post me. And so I wasn't thinking that I was going to go anywhere without without me going myself. But at the same time, I thought that everybody knew when you lay the hands on the head, even if somebody's standing in front of the post, you go back and then you go forward. A lot of these people, and I've seen it happen in the rings with the guys on spots, and a lot of people, instead of the grabbing of the hair or the head and the going back so you can bend up and get your eyesight and then forward so that you can go into the thing, they're just coming up behind somebody, grabbing them by the hair and making the motion to send their head somewhere. And it not only does it look like shit, but a lot of times that will throw you off balance. And in this case, the female I mentioned, I was like, oh, shit, I'm being pulled already, and I didn't hurt myself. I just took a shitty bump because I wasn't ready for it into the fucking post. It didn't look as good as it should have.
Baby doll.
No, this has been more recent than that.
Oh, okay.
But I was just, like I said, and with some of these last 20 years when I've actually been put in a position as being a baby face. But anyway, she's got to fucking slow down and pay attention to what she's doing, is Nia Jax. And that's, and as far as punishment, I don't know. I haven't been her employer all this time. I don't know who's complained. I don't know what the adjudication was as to blame or lack thereof on any of these other incidents. But at some point, if you've got somebody that's repeatedly hurting somebody, you say, look, we can do one of two things. You can go back to the performance center and work on this and give us some confidence, or you can go on your merry rabbit ass way. But we're not just going to ignore it one or the other. If it continues being an issue and a lot of people are not stepping up to go, hey, my bad. So I don't know.
You know, it is interesting because if you remember when we first started talking about her several weeks back, I think the first thing we spoke about was the video that was a group chat of various women from WWE and Nia Jax, without naming Ronda Rousey, talking about Ronda Rousey injuring Alexa Bliss and how Nia went to management and said, you have to get her out of these matches, she's hurting her. And really complaining about Ronda Rousey hurting her opponent in a match. And since that time, she's hurt Kairi Sane twice. The buckle bomb spot, and now she threw her like a dart into the stairs.
Maybe she just pissed. Maybe Carrie owes her trans. Maybe that's what it is. She won't pay the trans.